Do you believe that gender inequality still exists, and do you have any personal experience you can share?
Oh, it totally exists.
For me, I would say that it probably does still exist, but coming from London, from my perspective, I don't see it as much.
If people say it's gone, then I don't know what planet or world they're living in. There is still a gender pay gap in a lot of employers. Experience it every single day, and I think also as well it's a global thing.
I think that's because no one kind of makes it seem like you get paid more or he gets paid more. Like, everyone knows if they're working, like you're on your grind to do what you want to do. So for me, in terms of the workplace, not so much, but I guess it could still be happening in other countries.
So we here in the UK are privileged to an extent, but it's still not where we should be. You still see gender imbalances throughout, like, the employers. So, like, engineers, for example, we don't have enough females in engineering, we don't have enough scientists. I was speaking to one of our lecturers down in engineering who does a lot of STEM workshops, and she had a 16-year-old girl who was choosing her A-levels, and she said she didn't want to do biology or physics because it's a boys' subject.
I feel like inequality in like workplaces still exists, but I think it's like more subtle. Like I feel like it still exists, but it's like not many people talk about it as much as they used to. So I feel like that's why basically it's just more subtle than it was before.
Yeah, I think people are a lot more understanding now.
So for girls to still be thinking like that is quite sad, actually. I've been brought up by feminist men, and I had a grandfather who had 3 daughters. He actually didn't know what to do with my brother, but he made sure that all of his 3 girls were independent, that they all had their own jobs and that they earned their own money and they weren't reliant on a man. I've grown up in a family as well that has, like, because of my mother being like that and my grandfather being like that, I've always been empowered by really good men. So even though, like, men, particularly white men, are getting a hard time right now, and some of them should, 100%, we don't want people like Donald Trump in this world, there are some good men in there that will help you and help empower you.
Are you guys aware that there's still, like, pay gap, and why do you think why is it still there?
Yeah,
women are being paid less.
Like a prime example of that is football. Like, in the men's football game, you've got guys that are now on like 400 grand a week, and in the women's game, you don't really hear about even how much they earn. So they could probably be on the same salary as an academy scout that plays for example, maybe Tottenham, that's on 30 grand a week. So they're getting a normal sort of 9 to 5 paid, rather than these luxury higher-end footballs that are getting 10 times the amount, basically.
I think women have always been pitted against other women by the men throughout history. And actually, when we kind of get together in a group, we become quite powerful. And I think it's more about bringing each other up instead of kind of putting that woman down. You stop that, it's a load of bull. We should all be empowering each other. So yeah, gender inequality is definitely there. I think culturally as well, it's so layered. It's not just one thing. There's lots of layers to this. And I'm obviously speaking as a white woman, and I am privileged. You will have very different experiences. You will have different experiences, like all of us do.
As we're talking about it now, it's starting to come to light, and I feel like change is happening and has happened a bit, but there's still a long way to go, in a sense.
Like, as a woman in film, I'm outnumbered. A woman in academia, I'm outnumbered. A woman in technology and engineering, I am outnumbered. I remember Nicki Minaj saying this: when a man is assertive, he is a boss. When a woman is assertive, she is a bitch.
Like I said, it's more subtle than it was before, but they still believe like, you know, certain jobs are tailored to like a certain gender. So like, but I do believe personally that any gender can do any type of job.
So like moving heavy equipment, boys will be like, you can't move that. Why? Tell me why. What, you think I can't? All right. And then I'll just go and do it just to annoy them, to prove a point.
Obviously, society in a way doesn't believe so. That's why you have like males doing certain jobs and females doing certain jobs as well. But